So, what's interesting is on Martin Luther King Day, there have been in Virginia, there was this huge protest. Did you see any of the footage?
Not a ton of footage, but I saw some of the pictures and the articles I was reading and a little bit when I YouTubed it. But it's one of those things. I don't know. They seem to bury these pictures. Like the best pictures I was seeing was just random people's posts on Twitter.
Yeah.
It wasn't that's so much in the articles.
No, that's how I followed almost all of the stuff now. Which again is another fucking amazing thing about the current year in America is where you go to like, you kind of like, as someone like I check all these news sources every day or just about every day. But then if you really want the actual info, you go to fucking social media and you get that. Did I tell this on the show? I think I did tell this on the show, but I don't know why. It's not that important or relevant of a story, but it just stuck out to me. I remember just one day, I think my wife had the baby, like in the other room, and I was sitting on the couch watching the news, and I'm on my phone at the same time. And on my phone, I was on Twitter, and it's just like trending, Notre Dame is on fire. And then there's pictures and videos and live feeds from people's phones. It's like fucking across the Atlantic Ocean and then some. There's these people with just their phone there, like Lula, à la bec à la mort, à la bibliothèque, and fucking, that's my best French accent. And then showing like the tower burning and back to them. And you're like, oh wow, I'm watching it. And then it was about 5 minutes before on the TV in front of me, they cut to this. And there's just something, I don't know, there was something about that moment where I was like, oh, that's kind of like, that really shows you something, right? Like just this dumb tweet ad where half the stuff on Twitter is just some dumb, it's like a picture of a cat and then someone making a
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, like some stupid fucking jokes and like this dumb thing. And then there you actually also can get fucking real world, really important information before the fucking your father's news apparatus can get it to you. And today with the rally, I saw that's how I was taking a look at it, was through all these people who were there, who are filming it on their phone and posting to social media, and then it gets retweeted by someone you follow or whatever. And it's, and I was watching it. It was a big crowd for sure. Thousands of people. I mean, I saw some pictures that looked like 10,000 people. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was definitely multiple thousands of people who were protesting against these proposed gun control measures. And it was, I think it's over at this point. It was completely peaceful. There was no problems whatsoever, which was good. I mean, there was a lot of speculating from the Democratic establishment in Virginia that there was going to be acts of violence. And I don't just mean like, oh, people were saying some things like the governor Northam, he declared a state of emergency over this. And he was saying, they had arrested alleged neo-Nazis, people who were part of hate groups from the media reporting.
Doesn't that happen almost around every rally that they start going, oh my God, there's going to be acts of violence and this is
every right-wing rally for sure.
It just, I don't know. I feel like even when I went to rallies in high school, I think I went to one for the people in Sudan or something. I feel like I went to Washington twice for some political, whatever it was. I don't even remember. And everyone's like, you can't go. It's going to be dangerous. They're expecting, one of them was probably for Israel. I think I went for one to Israel and one to end the genocide in Sudan or somewhere in Africa. I don't really remember. I hope that's over and our efforts were
I can tell you really cared about both.
I did. I was the one trying to I went room to room. I tried rallying people, and this one rabbi debated me that we shouldn't. I was like, I don't know. I keep coming to these classes and you're telling us all about the Holocaust and like how no one did anything, and now these people are being killed. Why don't we go do something?
You heard it here from Rob.
There you go.
The Holocaust, no one did anything.
That's how
he sums up the whole event.
No one. They buried the story, and no one cared that they were slaughtering Jews.
Yeah,
that's the way they taught it to us.
Well, it might have been true at the time. These days, that story is front and center.
But this rabbi gave me some real shit for it. He almost convinced me that we shouldn't be helping. It was weird.
What did he say?
I don't know. He's like, so you think we gotta always do something, blah. I don't remember exactly. He was a real smart guy. And I was like, well, maybe. I don't know.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting an argument.
Yeah, you're like, what? Sudan? He's like, what have the people in Sudan ever done for me?
Yeah, big Hasidic dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Hasids.
Yeah, he didn't want to care for nobody.
They're a smelly bunch, those Hasids.
Some of them, not all of them. You think all of them?
I like to paint with a broad brush.
Well, they're wearing fur in the summer. What are you going to do? You got to smell them in the winter.
Yeah,
you don't want to smell them in the summer.
Man. The summer, it's brutal. Sometimes you see those people in those outfits in the summer and you're like, you deserve to go to heaven. Like, I really hope you guys are right, because otherwise you just wore like fucking thick wool all August long.
It's like wearing 3 sheep on you, man. Yeah. Because they got the inner sheep layer with the religious garment, then a full shirt, and then the outer big coat.
Oh, just brutal. You see the sweat beading up on their forehead, and you're like, bro, you know, there's another way that involves being cool, eating bacon. Just check it out sometime. I don't know. Try it for a day. See what you like. Anyway, there is like I was saying, so in the lead up to this over the last couple weeks, there were like, I think 6 people arrested. And I always get, you know, who knows? I don't know much about the details, but it's always like this weird thing where, and this is the problem, right, with all of the like, everybody's a racist and everyone's a white nationalist and a neo-Nazi, and it's just, it becomes so, like, we don't, as a society, unfortunately, reserve that label for people who really deserve it. And it's thrown out all the time, that when the media starts going, oh, we arrested, you know, 3 neo-Nazis or 6 neo-Nazis connected to a hate group, it's enough to make everybody go, okay, no problem. I mean, those are just Nazis, so who the fuck cares what happens to them? But it doesn't seem like everybody's going like, wait, on what evidence? Like, what ground did you have? How do I know these are actual neo-Nazis? Because I've seen run-of-the-mill right-wingers painted as Nazis so many times at this point. And then when they say hate group, you're like, wait, what exactly? Like, what's your definition of hate group? Now I'm not saying maybe these people were guilty and deserve to be arrested. I don't know. But what does hate group even mean?
Questioning our intelligence communities?
Well, you know, I think I might be.
The same
which is
people
dangerous.
Who reported on Russia collusion
yeah, exactly.
And have warded off threats.
But this is what's, you know, it's like you get so used to the government lying about all this stuff that it's like, I don't know, my starting point is I don't believe you and I want to see some evidence. And I just, there's something about the term hate group that, like, depending on the perspective you want to look at it from, is there any political, like politically charged group, a group with a political point of view that you couldn't consider a hate group, like that they don't hate something?
They called the Insane Clown Posse a gang.
Right.
Remember they got them like the gang status so that it would be easier to arrest them or search cars or whatever the fuck they were trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, once you give a band with a bunch of weirdo followers with bad taste in music the classification of a gang,
then what does this even mean anymore? And that's, I just wonder, like, what does hate group mean? So, like, I don't know, if you have a group of fucking left-wingers on a college campus somewhere, I mean, they certainly hate patriarchy and capitalism, and they seem to kind of hate straight white men, or straight white cis men, or whatever, you know, like, it's that, like, almost every group you could think of hates somebody. You know, Donald Trump supporters hate Hillary Clinton supporters. Hillary Clinton supporters really hate Donald Trump support. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just becomes this weird label that you can selectively put on whoever you want to, and it's just, I don't know. Anyway, they said they had all these credible threats. I mean, to the point that a state of emergency was declared and guns right around the state house or wherever they were protesting were banned. They had to stay within their, like, gated off area to open carry.
Your designated protest spot with armed guns.
Well, it just, right, exactly. It's really, there's something about it that's just fucking, like, so creepy. But especially the fact where they go, okay, so we're declaring the state of emergency because we have all these credible threats of violence, and then there's no violence, and you're like, do we, like, what's the evidence here? And again, it's not exactly intelligence community, but what they say is, like, the law enforcement community has determined that there were credible threats against us, and it's a weird thing where, so, but how do we know you're not just saying that? Or how do we know that these are actually credible threats? All very strange. Anyway, none of it came true. So none of that came to fruition. So there were no acts of violence. It was just thousands of people open carrying. It was an interesting group from the pictures that I saw. Like, there's fucking, you know, like, just your kind of average looking Virginia Republicans. Then there were like militias from out of state, like militiamen coming through. There was Black Guns Matter people there. Alex Jones was there. It was just like an interesting group, all with a ton of guns, all marching around. Everybody was fairly peaceful. And it's just an interesting moment to think about and to kind of watch the effect, like what the gun debate is really about, how passionate people who are pro Second Amendment are about their gun rights. And like, look, even just the fact that there is this issue, right? That it seems to me like people on the left never, like there's this disconnect between the people who actually see, like the purpose of the Second Amendment being to preserve a free society, or at least to be something that helps to preserve a free society, being like one hedge against tyrannical government, one of hopefully many, like hopefully there's other, amendments in the Bill of Rights, and there's, like fucking checks on power and balances and all that shit. And a culture, but like this is one of them for sure, like an armed populace. And then people on the left who see the Second Amendment as basically being like a mistake that was written into the Constitution, made sense in the day of like a gun, like that couldn't do anything like the guns that we have today. You know what I mean? Like, but really is just stupid now and never should have been, like included in the Constitution or something along those lines. And this rally is almost just evidence that there at least is something to the claim that guns do something to change the relationship between the state and the citizens. Look, when you look at these pictures, when you see like, and again, I don't know exactly what the numbers were. I think it must have been at minimum between 5,000 to 10,000 people. Now, that's not the biggest rally that we've had. There were hundreds of thousands of people at the Women's March when they were marching around with fucking pink vaginas on their head. But don't you get a little bit of a different feeling when you see an open carry march? Now, by the way, there was no violence at this thing. It's not that anyone did anything violent. It's not that they didn't do anything. I mean, there wasn't really violence at the Women's March either. But I'm just saying, don't you have a little bit of a different feeling when people are marching around with guns? There's just a little bit. Now, I'm sure to people on the left, they go, yes, that feeling is fear. Somebody could get hurt. Somebody could get killed. But look, just saying, empirically, nobody did. Nobody was shot up or killed. God, I hope while we're recording this, someone isn't shooting 20 people and this episode doesn't age well. But don't think so. I think it went off peacefully. So that you can be peacefully with these guns, but it certainly does have a different feel, like there is more of a message received than just a bunch of people walking around with fucking pussy hats. You know what I mean? It's like saying something to march around open carrying. And you're not aggressing against anyone else. You're not being violent toward anyone else. But you certainly are sending a message that I won't tolerate any violence toward me.
I'm still grabbing vaginas.
Yeah.
I mean,
because what are they going to do?
Yeah, they don't have guns.
There's just more vaginas for me to grab. Now you have two.
Yeah.
One down low, one on the head. So it's, you know what I mean? It's just, there's something about it that lets you know. And I saw somebody posted like a picture, and I was like, oh man, that really says it all. But someone posted a picture up. Do you remember at Occupy Wall Street, there was that video that went viral? It's like a famous image almost at this point of the cop who was just spraying chemicals into the fucking kids' faces. So it was like a line of like teenagers sitting down linking arms, and this cop, this fucking like, you know, right out of a fucking Gestapo, just fucking walks by and just starts spraying.
But it wasn't even a can. It was like an industrial size.
It was like some chemical spray thing.
No, I think it was tear gas, but it was an industrial size.
Yeah. And just starts spraying it into these fucking kids' faces. And it's like so casually and there is something, and look, I don't know, maybe they should have moved. I don't know if they, like, where they were or whether, but it's just like, Jesus Christ, just spraying this fucking chemical into these fucking teenagers' faces. And, you know, anyway, a guy just tweeted a picture of that, and he goes, won't be seeing this at today's rally. And I was like, yeah, man, that right there is almost the perfect just explanation of what guns do. You know, like, you remember even at the Bundy Ranch standoff, when they would show kind of like the Bundy guys would be over there with their guns, the fucking the federal cops would be over here with their guns, and then like one of the cops would come up and talk to one of the Bundy Ranch guys, and he'd be like, so we're gonna ask you if you can like move back like a little bit. If you would do that, we would appreciate it. And you guys kind of like, okay, I have no problem, I'll ask them to move back, but you guys got to agree to do this and that. And they're like, okay, well, and that's like how the negotiating goes. Whereas in Occupy, it's like over a bullhorn, like, move back or you will be tear gassed. Like, that's it. There's no need to like fucking talk this out. We're here with the fucking thugs, and you guys are here with your long hair and fucking tie-dye hacky sacks. Like, move. That's it. But when there's guns involved, all of a sudden the government's got to be like, okay, so let's have a conversation here. Let's be reasonable. And I think there's something powerful about that. And you would think, at least for people on the left today, who many of them kind of feel like there's been a fascistic takeover of the federal government, and that, Trump has these like, fascist-like tendencies. Maybe you'd go, oh, this is something that can kind of check government power. All right. I don't know. Maybe that's not like, maybe there's something to that.